Hi, all. Week 5, part 2 that I've just had trouble uploading. I'm just having another crack at it. I think this might be shorter than what was previously hoped for, but let's have a go with it. I just thought I'd put this project up here. It's not particularly befriend, mend and tend, but perhaps sometimes this kind of top-down overlay is not always awful when it's considered strategically and thoughtfully. And perhaps a little resurfing, a dabble with new topography could work wonders or not. Certainly on that big BHP site that comes to mind, of even the idea of flicking up bits of the road or something seems to have, I don't know, it triggers me. I particularly like that bottom image in the middle at the Yokohama Sea Terminal, because I think what this project does is, what are the design opportunities of flat? And your site is so flat. So I think, the design opportunities of flat are that small inflections of topography can have a really big impact. And there's some very nice form making there in this timber scenario. Just another quick look at the Marty Franch project here in their ongoing effort to reclaim this sort of community input and small team input into general maintenance. And one wonders if you were to do a real maintenance regime around Carrington, what that might look like, how thoughtful, how gentle that might be, how you just do sort of constant maintenance of the soil in small, incremental, continuous stages, which is in a way what maintenance is. What would be the way to maximise that? Am I losing an image here? Defining a Belvedere, I don't know why that image isn't there. That's weird to me. There's a lot of weirdness going on here. Okay, looking at Belvederes. This is Belvederes as a big, large view out. Now, here's the opposite of our site. Here's Ballast Point Park, which is really an inbuilt Belvedere in the way it was terraced up and left over as a post-industrial site. That is not what Carrington is, not at all. It's very much a live site, and topography-wise, it is not what Carrington is at all. But I just think this Belvedere sort of concept way of thinking could be useful, but you have to invert it and make it site-specific, perhaps. So here we have this whole series of terraces, but at the top is these wonderful outlooks over Sydney Harbour. Are there ways you could create these sort of moments of lookoutness? How powerful could they be? Not sure why that image isn't there. Finding a lot of weird stuff going on with me at the moment in Teams. Scale, perhaps I was talking about scale here. Sorry to be vague. This is about the 6th time I've done this, and now I can't remember. I know what I was talking about there, is that great sliding spatial scenario that happens on the site where you get these huge walled off horizon views, literally obstructed horizon views, and then a boat leaves. And then it's open again. I think that's very particular to the site. And I'm not quite sure where we're missing any ones with text, but just I wanted to just show a few images of around the site. I think it's Hargrave Street with that obstructed view to horizon where you can't see any water. The same running alongside the school, obstructed view horizon. What could very particular acupuncture points do? I am distracted here. Sorry, it's still school holidays and that 12 kids all downstairs rattling me a little. And then when you can get up, just even a little bit up that footbridge, the expanse of outward views that are enabled. So, I just feel, thinking of some of the examples through this part 1 of week 5 lecture, these kind of vertical quick height scenarios, could be something interesting to be dabbling with. New Quay Central Park, Docklands Drive by Stutterheim Anderson, landscape architecture with Aspect Studios by my very, very good friend Kath Stutterheim, who I adore, and her Alzheimer's is kicking in now at the age of 78, and she hardly remembers that she's done this project. And she said she was thrilled we'd worked on it together, but I had not worked on this project. This is Charles Anderson and Kath Stutterheim with Aspect. And I'm not sure who was in on the Aspect team, perhaps Kirsten Bauer. A little unsure, it'd be good to find out, but it's a very wonderful project. And I'm missing a few images. That was it. Look to the teams general, the photographs of this project I just put on there. I didn't have them in this PowerPoint. Underground, showing what happens underground, another great Dutch university image here, Wageningen University. If anyone can try and explore this in how they're showing what's happening underground, I think that's a really extensive root system of a plant that we all can begin to comprehend more how that would engage with toxic soil. I'm very much liking Topotec's projects of late. The German firm here at Plastilla Europe, there's great wording there on their Instagram site, which I follow and I highly recommend it. The lighting on the left there is super interesting. The Superkiline Park in Copenhagen, also terrific in how they're jumping scales of human scale to massive, large sort of scale, and that using colour in that way. Also cleverly using iconography and furniture from around the world, where they get seating from the UK and playground equipment from Poland, and they mix it all up together at this park. What could you do with the port and the suburb? How to entangle scale? Who's going to be living here? What are all the different nationalities that come in on those ships? What could you do? How could you engage in that? How could you trigger people or skippers of boats as they come through? It's just an interesting sort of idea. I don't know why we're losing text in this, but this is also one of their projects in Denmark. Then I'm so sorry, the name's gone. This whole presentation is really against me. I can give you that name in class, but where we get a 1 kilometre long skate park within this new suburb of, it's called Hoje Top. I'd have to read it to spell it out. Hoje, I think. Also by Topotec, where it's being both a skate park as well as detaining water, which we see. Anyway, there's some wording. I don't know why the wording hasn't popped in. It's a nice phrase. Also from their site, public space is a stage for all social encounters. It provides momentum thanks to two kinds of unexpected experience. Firstly, the influence of the elements, rain, storm, snow, sun, and wind. That is our fundamental elements. And secondly, the movements of people. I think this is just turning out to be one of my favourite projects of all time. It always has been, but I just realise I keep wanting to show it to you because of the way it just so carefully and intentionally engages with the water, and this idea of how water could rise there and fall, and that experience change. So it's just something I really love how they're doing that, and maybe this is a useful project to consider when you're anyone dealing with the water edges. Mary and Mrs. Greenwood Pond, 1996. That's all I've got. Over and out.